I'm 21 and I was recently diagnosed with a malignant phyllodes tumor, which is a rare form of breast cancer. I'm just gonna do my makeup and kind of chat about what I've been dealing with and going through. Just because since it is such a rare form, there's not much research or like videos on YouTube that you could relate to. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started on my makeup. But first I want to talk about how I found my tumor in my breast. So first I was on a trip to Arizona with one of my friends, just kind of around the time that COVID was lightening up a little bit after our quarantine. So we went up to Flagstaff, Arizona, to stay at this cabin with some of her friends. And the whole trip I was kind of feeling weird the whole time. And I had recently found that lump in my breast, but it was really small, like nothing that I was like too concerned about. But as soon as I got up to Arizona, I noticed that it had grew quite a bit. So first I kind of like notified my boyfriend about it and let him know that when I get home, I'm gonna, schedule an appointment. But at the same time, I was feeling really weird and just having not a really good time in Arizona. I was just emotionally feeling off. So when I got home, I ended up taking a pregnancy test and it turned out positive. So I obviously did everything that you should do when you find out that you're pregnant. Schedule your doctor's appointment. So at my doctor's appointment, I brought up the lump in my breast to her just because it was at a point and at a size that it was becoming concerning. And she felt the same way once I showed it to her. So at that point, I was referred to a imaging center, which would be a place where they could take a ultrasound of my breast to kind of check out what was going on inside. So I did the ultrasound. It came back as suspicious, but they did think it was benign. So they did want to do some more tests, which caused me to have to do a biopsy. So a biopsy is where they make a small insert on the side of your breast, and they stick in this like really long wire with a clamp on the end of it, and the clamp will break off tissue from your tumor that they could test to see if it's cancerous or not. So I did that, and it came back benign, but it came back undersampled because of the size of my tumor. It was about 8 centimeters at the time, which was pretty much my entire breast. So at that point, I was pregnant. So I couldn't do a CT scan. I couldn't do really any testing besides the biopsies and ultrasounds because of the fact that I was pregnant. And so they referred me to a surgeon, and the surgeon was relying on the fact that it was benign. So she told me, you only have like 3 months left of your pregnancy. Let's just wait it out, and then we'll figure all this out when you give birth. So flash forward to me giving birth, I start trying to contact my surgeon again, to, get the ball rolling, because my tumor had again substantially grown, probably like twice its size, by the time that I had seen her last. So then I actually got referred to a new surgeon, and he decided to do a lumpectomy, which is a breast preserving surgery. So a mastectomy is a entire breast removal, so all your breast tissue, and lumpectomy is just the removal of the infected tissue. So that's what I chose to do at first, was the lumpectomy, just because I am young and I did want to preserve my breast, just because obviously it's hard emotionally to take on a huge change in your body, especially me becoming a new mom, already dealing with obviously those changes, and then now dealing with my breast looking completely different. So I decided to pick the lumpectomy. So then we scheduled the surgery. At first I had to go in and do a bunch of like pre-surgery testing just to make sure that I was going to be okay under anesthesia. And then obviously like my COVID test just to make sure that I, wasn't going to spread or infect anybody or, whatever. So after that, I went in for my surgery pretty early. And the thing with my surgery, the first thing I had to do was this thing called a needle core biopsy, which is the small procedure that they do before your actual like big procedure. And what they do is they use ultrasound and they guide it. They guide a wire needle through your breast and hook the tumor. And my tumor was actually so big that they used 2 hooks just to make sure that it was really on there. That was pretty painless just because they numbed me up, and I was pretty used to that because I had the biopsy before, which was like the exact same thing. So after the needle core biopsy, they wheeled me over to the actual surgery room where I just kind of like hung out in my gown, which I had a really cool gown. They had like bags inside of it, and they put a heater on it, so I was like nice and warm and comfortable. And then I thought this was weird, but I had to walk into my operating room like by myself. Well, not by myself, like walk in and lay down, and they like strapped my freaking arms up and obviously gave me anesthesia, and I went out. So woke up from the surgery. I was pretty fine. Like, I wasn't really out of it. I was more out of it with my wisdom teeth surgery. Like, I feel like I was a lot more loopy and, like I said, out of it. And I really just wanted to go home because, like I said, I'm a new mom. And I really wanted to see my baby and my boyfriend and my family and just, be home and not at the hospital. So I was, like, pretty adamant on that as soon as I woke up to go home. And so my friend Delaney, she picked me up. Thank God she picked me up pretty quickly, and I was able to get home quick to my family. The first day I was just mostly really, really tired from the anesthesia, obviously. And within the next couple of days, that's kind of really how I felt, is just really tired. And I had a lot of brain fog. Like, I really couldn't think much. It just was kind of all a blur in a way. The pain wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It was mostly just muscle weakness where I couldn't like pick up anything. I mean, obviously after surgery you're not even allowed to, so that obviously was a really big factor in like what made my healing hard, because I can't hold my baby, I can't pick up my baby. So that was really frustrating for me, and the wound was really painful. But I was able just to take ibuprofen just because any hard pills or anything like that, it always makes me sick. So I just kind of stuck to ibuprofen, which I was fine with. I'm right on the tail end of my healing, but unfortunately, I went to my surgeons for my checkup appointment, which everybody obviously has to do just to make sure that you're healing good and your incision isn't infected and all that good stuff. So when I went in, it was funny because I was literally like, the first thing I was saying to the surgeon was, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You really did such a good job," because he really did a great job on the preservation of my breast. So, if this wasn't cancerous, he would have done such an amazing job, because I still have a somewhat normal looking breast. So if reconstruction wasn't available for me, I would still be pretty okay with that. So I was kind of praising him, saying, "Thank you so much for making my breasts look as normal as possible. I really appreciate it." And then he was like, "Okay, well, obviously before we talk about your surgery, like, I want to talk to you about your pathology reports," which pathology is obviously where they test if you have cancer or not. So he gave me the pathology report, and I was diagnosed with a malignant phyllodes tumor, which is a very rare form of breast cancer. It only accounts for about 0.3 to 1% of women that are diagnosed with breast cancer. So there's not really too much information about it, research about it. That's why I really wanted to make a video and discuss my experience about it, especially me being really young, having to deal with it. So he told me that it was malignant and we were going to have to do a secondary surgery because I still had cancer. I still have cancer in my breast. They call it margins. So you'll have your tumor, and then whatever's that tissue around your tumor is called your margin. So my margins were still testing positive with cancer. So I do need to go in to have a secondary surgery. But at this point, I'm just waiting to see my oncologist, which I'm actually going to see them tomorrow, just to kind of go over my options. Just because my surgeon, he at first only wanted to do a reincision of what he did before and just take out any of the positive margin. But me personally, I would much rather just have a mastectomy, which is the removal of the rest of the breast tissue, just so I don't have any chance of reoccurrence in that breast. Honestly, I've came to a point where I'd much rather be safe and be here for my family and my daughter than have like an appealing looking breast. Like I can always in the future get surgery for that and change, you know, that if necessary. But for right now, I just want to be safe. But for some reason, a lot of surgeons really rely on, or not rely, more so want the best looking outcome and don't too much think about the overall health of you because they're just a surgeon. They're not an oncologist. They don't really know anything about it. So he really wants me to do the reincision, but I am gonna probably side with the mastectomy. So with finding out that you have a rare form of cancer, it is scary, obviously, because the first thing you want to do is go to Google, and Google, I mean, you have a cold and it tells you that you're gonna die. So I made that mistake and I went on Google, found out scary information that I probably shouldn't have read. So I thought I should try to find like some type of support group of, you know, women and people who are dealing with the same form of cancer as me, just because I feel like they'd be a lot more knowledgeable with that like personal experience. So I just went on to Facebook and found a cancer support group of women everywhere, all across the world, dealing with this, you know, really rare form of breast cancer. And it's been a really great, resource center as well as support center. Just ladies who understand like what you're dealing with, the anxiety of not knowing pretty much anything, the horrible waiting periods. So that has been a really great help for me. Also, being a part of this group of women who also share this same form of cancer has helped me come to my decision of getting the single mastectomy. Just because I've seen a lot of stories of reoccurrences that have happened pretty quickly after surgery, and I don't want to deal with that and have to do another surgery on top of another surgery. It just is a lot. And then obviously with having a newborn, surgery means I can't hold my baby, I can't pick her up or do anything like that. So pretty much at this point, I just have to go to my oncologist and kind of wait until they can give me kind of like a treatment plan and the next stepping stones and what I am going to do after surgery. So I actually have that appointment tomorrow. I'm nervous, but I'm also looking forward to it just to get a couple more answers. But I also do recommend looking at a second opinion if you do have this form of cancer, just because it is pretty rare. So I am going to be looking into a second option, like a research hospital. Like I have a Mayo Clinic pretty close to where I live in California. So I'm going to probably get an appointment there just because, like I said, it is rare and not a lot of people know too much about it. Like my own surgeon was telling me that he doesn't really know, and he's just gonna kind of do what I want to do, because he can't recommend, because he honestly doesn't know. That's why I kind of am just holding off my surgery until I can speak with my oncologist, just to make sure, again, I'm making the correct decision. But I think I pretty much already know my answer. I am going to go with the single mastectomy, just to make sure, again, that I don't have any reoccurrences, and that I can just kind of, you know, stick around for longer, and not have to deal with surgery on top of surgery. So dealing with this diagnosis of a rare cancer, make sure that you reach out to anyone you can, your friends and family, just to get as much support as you possibly can. Just because it is a pretty isolating feeling, and really scary, because there is a lot of unknowns. And I do really recommend joining a support group, or a Facebook group, or reach out to your oncologist for your social worker, just somebody that you can talk to kind of alleviate the stresses and the weight of dealing with a cancer diagnosis. So within the next video, I will have seen my oncologist and probably already scheduled my second surgery. So I'll keep you guys updated on my recovery, and hopefully everything goes well. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you for watching. I hopefully will come out with some more like positive content. I did like just a quick little like beat today because I'm really lazy. I already did my makeup today at some point. But I do makeup as well. So hopefully I'll come up with some better content and more interesting looks. But yeah, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching.